society. On our lineup of issues to look at today on the program, we will begin with a look at the 2023 election. Kwankwaso urges Nigerians to reject the APC and the PDP. Why is he saying Nigerians should reject these parties? We'll find out in the course of our discussion. We'll move on to look at senatorial tussle. APC considers court action against INEC over omission of some of its candidates. Last on our lineup, academic certificate. Tinubu campaign organization accuses PDP of sponsoring Tinubu's arrest. Joining me to look at this issue today on the program is Mr. Moses Idika. Mr. Moses Idika is a journalist as well as a political analyst. He'll be joining me after this break to provide his perspective on this issue. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought a very family. Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is ATN Politics, and I'm being joined by Moses Idika. Mr. Moses Idika is a journalist. He is the editor with e-Parliament, and he was a former aspirant of the House of Representatives. Mr. Idika, you're welcome to the program.
Yeah, good afternoon.
How are you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm very well.
Well, you know, the political environment is getting tense by the day. And this afternoon, we'll begin with our first issue, which has to do with Kwankwaso asking people to stay away from PDP and the APC. Let's get started with the first issue. former governor of Kano State and presidential candidate of the New Nigerian People's Party, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, has called on Nigerians to reject the candidates of the ruling All Progressive Congress and that of the PDP, that is Tinubu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and Atiku Abubakar. The former governor noted that the two political parties have failed over the years to provide succor to Nigerians across all sectors of governance, adding that all indices of socio-economic development are daily rising in the negative side. Kwankwaso, who spoke on Sunday in Ado-Ekiti, at the state capital of Ekiti State, during a consultative visit to the state, expressed regret over the plight of commuters plying the deplorable road of Akure-Ado. No, he said the APC-led government, both at the federal and the state level, have abandoned the people to suffer. You know, these were his words. He said, "We have seen the performance of APC and PDP, and all of us believe that they have failed the country woefully, and nobody should expect anything from them. These people in the two parties have failed, and they have failed woefully. They have nothing to offer," he added. He said, "Look at the road from Akure to Ado-Ekiti. It is in a very terrible and deplorable situation. You go around any of these cities, Abuja and other areas, you hardly see anything happening. Poverty is at the highest level in this country. Insecurity also at its peak. And we can't continue like this, because the way we are going now, the way we're going now, the country is heading for a disaster. So the only way to avert disaster is for Nigerians to go and, sell the ideas of NNPP, which is the Progressive Party, and then, of course, vote for the party come 2023. Well, we'll hold it on at this point. Let's get to Idika. Mr. Moses Idika, Kwankwaso is saying APC and the PDP have failed the country. The country is really in a very bad shape, and he shouldn't be handed over to these two groups. How do you react to this statement coming from former governor of Kano State and now presidential candidate of the New Nigerian People's Party?
Okay, you can hear me. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, he's campaigning for himself, but he's also not telling Nigerians the truth. He didn't tell Nigerians, those whom he's telling to reject the APC and the PDP. He didn't tell them that he was a governor under PDP and APC, and he was also a minister within these two political parties. And whatever he is politically in Nigeria today, he has the DNA of both parties in himself. So I think that right now, every Nigerian politician who wishes to talk to Nigerians should be talking to Nigerians based on their own antecedents, based on what they are bringing to the table, and not to tell us whom not to like and whom to like. Because it's the normal story people say. When the APC came in 2015, they said that if the only solution to Nigeria's problem was voting the APC. APC was eventually voted into power, and the situation of Nigerians worsened. People, hunger became pervasive. Like Kwankwaso noted, the roads became unpassable. Life became brutish in Nigeria. Today in Nigeria, if you go out of your house, if you come in, you kneel down and thank God for it. So which shouldn't be so. So really, Kwankwaso is just playing to the gallery. It is not about these political parties per se. It is about what ideas are the people contesting the presidency, what ideas are they bringing to the table? What new? Okay, we have security challenges in Nigeria, yes. Economy is comatose, yes. Rural road infrastructure is bad, yes. Aviation, practically all the sectors. In the last few weeks, we've been off and on. National grid is down today, tomorrow is up. So what they should be talking about, what Kwankwaso should be telling Nigerians is that is his plans to fix all these things, not telling us whom to reject or whom to accept. What is he bringing to the table? Because he's a member of PDP. He's also a member of APC.
He's not just a member of the PDP. He is a founding member of the APC and a founding member of the PDP.
Yes. So he's merely playing to the gallery. He doesn't have his. Unfortunately, Nigerian politicians don't know when the boss left the station, because it is a new era. Nigerians, both young and old, are saying we do not want status quo. We don't want what was to continue. Come up with ideas. The entire world is ruled by ideas. But this is somebody talking about political parties. We are not talking about political parties. We are talking, what can you do differently? So that's my response to him.
Well, you have raised the issue, what can you do differently? Of course, you know that Kwankwaso is someone who has antecedents. You rightly mentioned that he was a governor of Kano State, 2 times governor of Kano State, and at some point he became Minister for Defense. And he has raised very pertinent issue, very, very pertinent issue. He raised the issue of poverty. He raised the issue of insecurity. When you try to look at the person of Kwankwaso, look at his performance in Kano, look at his antecedents as Minister of Defense. How would you, how would you rate him, when you try to look at his past antecedents?
Okay, well, from looking at him as a Nigerian politician, it looks as if he did well, because in Nigeria, when you're able to supervise the construction of a bridge and maybe buy new school uniform for a few students and do the mundane things every Nigerian politician does, then you are seen to have done well. But the real issue is, what sustainable policy, legacy, policy issue, or policy statement did he make in Kano State that you can say that, okay, he was the governor of Kano State, he did this, and now see the result of the policy he initiated those days. So that is the issue for me as a Nigerian, as an electorate, as someone who is going to cast his votes on the election day. I'll be looking at because it's about policy. When we watch politicians in other climes, we see them say, okay, our inflation rate is like this. This is what we are going to be doing. And we know their team. They already know that this person is working with this kind of eggheads or experts in this area. So we are sure that if this man becomes the president, so they already have a team. But these are people, these are politicians who don't really, they are just waiting. They are waiting in the wings. So, okay, if this happens, fine, we'll go and do what we used to do. But if it doesn't happen, then they continue. Because for the past 8 years, as former minister who worked within the defense system, Boko Haram has leveled parts of the north. ISWAP came in, bandits came. What intelligence? Because we should be looking at this country as our own, not the one that belongs to the people in government. Now, Kwankwaso has a voice. How did he lend his voice to the issues happening in Nigeria even before now? In my own thinking, how I assess politicians and public figures is their tenacity in preaching that which they believe in. A lot of Nigerian politicians come up during election time, and they start talking everywhere, delivering lectures, making explosive statements and all that. But immediately the election is over, you don't see them again. They go back to their normal businesses. So people who believe in this country continuously push for a better living condition for Nigerians, not just during an election because you are interested in the presidency and then you start talking. So for me, I don't take them serious.
You don't take them serious. And so do you think Nigerians will not take him serious and also will feel, because you said here, you actually made mention that he was a member of the PDP and a member of the APC, and now he's in New Nigerian People's Party. Do you think Nigerians will not listen to him, feeling he is part of the problem?
Yes, Nigerians won't listen to him because they know that he's just telling the old story. Nigerians want to listen to someone who actually has solution to our problems. We have power problem. How are you going to be tackling our power problem? We have security challenges. How are you going to be tackling it? ASU has been on strike. The education system is shut down for months now. In various states, teachers are old. Secondary school is comatose. Primary schools, everybody puts their child in mushroom private schools here and there. So these are policy issues that they should be talking about. These are the real issues ailing Nigerians. Okay, in Abuja, Kwankwaso lives in Abuja. For the past 6 months, there have been fuel scarcity in Abuja. Every time you spend five days and spend one full day, 24 hours queuing for fuel, wasting man hours. So when this happens, they keep quiet. So these are the issues we have. There's epileptic power supply. How are you going to tackle it? There's sanitation issues, desert encroachment in the north, invasion of so we have myriad of problems that need real practical solutions. So we don't want someone telling us what party to accept and what party to reject. We want people who say, okay, we have this issue. I have an idea. This is how I'm going to tackle it. So that is why I don't take them serious. And I know I'm not alone in this. A lot of Nigerian electorates are not taking these people serious.
Nigerians are not taking them serious. That's what you said. And you also said that, of course, Nigerians actually want somebody with solution to their problem. I would want to ask, do you mean Kwankwaso don't have solution to Nigeria's problem? The fact that he's not talking, does that mean he doesn't have solution to the problem?
No, I don't think he understands the solution to our problem. He's part of those who created the problem. So he should be telling us the solution. But if he's not telling us the solution, then he doesn't have it.
Well, thank you for that contribution on the issue concerning Kwankwaso asking Nigerians to reject APC and PDP. We'll move on to the next issue. INEC, the likely move by APC, to contest the omission of some candidates from INEC list of delegates. We will be looking at that. What moves are they likely to make? But of course, you'll find that after this break. Please don't go anywhere.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought a very family. Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is ATN Politics. Before we went on the break, I told you that we will be looking at the move by APC to likely challenge the action by INEC to omit some of its candidates. So let's move on. The ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, is in a quagmire over the fate of Senate President Ahmed Lawal and former Minister of Niger Delta, Godswill Akpabio, in the 2023 general election. Their candidacy is actually being threatened following their omission from INEC list. The names of its high-profile candidates, like the Senate President and that of the former Niger Delta Minister, Godswill Akpabio, were at the weekend omitted by INEC in the list of candidates for the federal legislative election that was published, And of course, the spokesman of the All Progressive Congress, Felix Moka, efforts to reach him actually failed. However, there are indications that the party, which is actually currently developing its 2023 general election plan, is weighing options on how best it could actualize the candidature of Lawal and Akpabio, as well as other similar case, according to a party official who pleaded anonymity, said the party has come up with a plan on how to prosecute next year's general election. We did not envisage this challenge, of course, but we are exploring all options to see how we can get the Senate President and others on the ballot. The Senate President has been very instrumental to the sustenance of democracy in the country and has helped the smooth executive-legislature relationship. It is not to do us any good. It will not do us any good not to have him back in the upper chamber. It will not do the APC any good. INEC had at the weekend released the list of candidates for political parties for federal legislative seats, but omitted the names of certain individuals. We'll hold it on at this point and get back to our guest, Mr. Idika. Mr. Idika, let's get your take on why the All Progressive Congress is hell-bent on, of course, ensuring that they get Lawal and Akpabio, back to the National Assembly at the expense of internal democracy and in total violation of the rule of law and the Electoral Act.
Well, that's a summary of the concept APC, undemocratic and, a party that thrives on impunity. And a total summary of the failure of the APC, because you see people who arrogate their personal interests above national and collective interests of the people of Nigeria. Because in other climes, you want to contest for presidency, you start early, do your homework. At some point, that is why Nigeria copies the United States of America. In every presidential election cycle in America, several names pop up. What they do is that they employ people, experts, who actually look around and find out, do they actually have any chance of contesting and winning? So that is why you see shortly before certain milestones during the election hearing time, some people drop off, some people match their structure, as it were, with others, and then maybe towards the primary election, you have 2 or 3 persons who are seen to be major contenders. But here in Nigeria, you see that in the PDP, you had 6 people contesting. In the APC, you had several. At the end of the day, they say they are stepping down. So these are some of the impunity that this APC has come to establish in our political system. Because it beats our imagination that someone will go pay 100 million naira for presidential nomination forms in the APC and another 50 million naira for Senate. It's like playing pool. It's like sports betting. So it means these things are not actually born as of any conviction. They are not convinced in themselves that they can actually win. But they believe that the system can be manipulated at their whims and caprices. And that is the issue. If not, an experienced, in quotes, lawmaker like Ahmad Lawan, who has been in the National Assembly for over 2 decades, is here, caught in the web of going back to the National Assembly. But he felt that he could maneuver his way. If it doesn't work, he could come back too. So that is the price they all have to pay. Akpabio himself, even before the primaries, he dropped. He wasn't convinced. He didn't know exactly what he's doing. Now, how do you expect a political party who is preaching change to us to want to carry on with this kind of illegality? It happened in my state, in Ebonyi too, where the governor had his younger brother hold the ticket. He came back and said that that they have done another primary and he has won. Okay, he's one of those who is caught in the web of this INEC issue. His name is not listed. His younger brother's name is not listed. And I'm sure he's working with people like Lawan and Akpabio to see how they can circumvent the law and be on the ballot. So it is an indictment on the APC because if you must come to equity, they say you should come with clean hands. But the APC believes so much in manipulation of the system, and it's very unfortunate.
Oh, well, it's very unfortunate. That is your submission. But how do you look at the position of INEC on this issue? You know how INEC handled the issue. How would you comment on the position of INEC?
INEC is a public institution guided by law. Everything INEC has done in the last 1 month were in line with the Electoral Act 2022 as amended, which gave timelines, which gave guidelines on how to play within the political turf right now. So INEC is merely discharging its duties in accordance with their powers and the powers that is the constitution that established them. So INEC has no fault. INEC already told them that. I listened to Okoye the other day, the spokesman of INEC, who said that, well, they still have some remedy, and that remedy is going to court. If court grants it, so be it. The INEC will obey that. But if the court doesn't, well, so be it. So INEC is definitely on the right path.
Oh. Would you say perhaps, well, INEC is following the 2022 guidelines of the Electoral Act? Perhaps the APC is not really conversant with the new Electoral Act, and that is why they are making these mistakes. They thought perhaps we are still dealing with the 2010 Electoral Act.
Of course, the Electoral Act, like I said earlier, is the summary of the failure of the All Progressive Congress, the APC. It's the summary of the failure of the 9th National Assembly headed by Ahmad Lawan and Femi Gbajabiamila to have even passed a law that they do not understand. The National Assembly is peopled by lawyers, professors, people who supposedly have excelled in their various fields, people who are supposedly versed in the lawmaking process. Yet, they passed a law that they didn't even understand its implications, its provisions. So it begins to tell you why we have problems in Nigeria, because we have incompetent people everywhere. The National Assembly, the 9th National Assembly, is the most incompetent in the history of parliament in Nigeria. Ahmad Lawan has shown that he
Many
doesn't know
Nigerians will
anything.
disagree with you on that, Mr. Idika.
Okay.
I said many
Yeah,
Nigerians will disagree with you on that.
Yes, they can disagree. It's their right to disagree, but I'm giving you my opinion, because if indeed the Nine National Assembly knew exactly what they were doing, they wouldn't have pulled the carpet off their own feet. Do you know, by the 2022 Electoral Act, you can't even vote for yourself? I mean, who does that? That is why you see aspirants in various political parties recording 0 votes, because they even disenfranchise the aspirant themselves. So you see, I mean, this is for the various congresses, without looking at themselves. They forgot that they are going to be standing for election. They didn't make any window, any escape window for themselves or for other person. Of course, well, on the other hand, it helps Nigerians, because it weakened their ability to impose their lackeys in various political offices, at least for 2023.
Well, you know, if they happens to head to court, what do you see? What would you say would likely be the outcome of the case if they take the case to court? You know,
I'm not a lawyer. I'm a journalist, but I know very well that the learned judges would look at it, because from what I know, judges, they look at the evidence before them. The people per se, they look, the moment a matter is in court, you have to adduce evidences to back up your claims. So when they go to court, if they eventually do, they will go to court with a reason why they should, those ones should be reversed and then included in the ballot. So for now, no one, not even me, I can't predict what the court, but of course, it's their right. INEC has affirmed that they have the right to go to court to seek redress. So, and I think that is the only option open to them. So it is also part of strengthening our democracy, because when people are beginning to obey the law, then we are gradually internalizing constitutional democracy. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Let them go to court. And of course, several other parties also have the same issue. So the court is the only option they have right now.
Well, before we put this issue on hold, I would like to know what happens should the court decide to, you know, uphold the decision of INEC. And of course, you have seen how the APC chairman have been very pushful on this matter. How would he then be, you know, rewarding, you know, those he considered very faithful members, the likes of Ahmed Lawal and of course Akpabio and co. Of course, they will not be going to the National Assembly, but how would he not reward them?
I like your word, reward. And that is the problem we have in Nigeria. Public offices shouldn't be a reward for people. It should never be. It can't even be. So if Ahmad Lawan, Godswill Akpabio, and David Umahi and the rest of them, if they feel that they love Nigeria so much, they have amassed humongous wealth. Let them use their wealth in their various foundations, in their various capacities to help the system grow. Let them be a guide to those who will be there. They must not be on the seats to help Nigeria grow. They must not be on the seats to advance democracy in Nigeria. The National Assembly has 90 plus senators and over 350 members of the Green Chamber, the House of Representatives.
109 senators and 360.
Yes, 109 and 360. So this is a large number of people. So the absence of Akpabio, Ahmad Lawan, Umahi it's like a drop in the ocean. In any case, why not Lawan work with whoever is coming to replace him and say, okay, I've been here before, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. I mean, that is what elders do. Ahmad Lawan has been on the payroll of the federal government of Nigeria since 1999. Fine. His people, in quotes, kept electing him. Well, if he loses out this time, I mean, he hasn't done us any special favor. After all, he led a 9th National Assembly that has been the weakest in the history of parliament in Nigeria. So, I mean, they are not coming back to the National Assembly. Should actually be a blessing to Nigeria, irrespective of what their political party, the APC, feels about it. That's my opinion.
Well, thank you for that perspective. Let's go on a short break. When we return, we will be looking at this academic certificate issue that is a controversy that has to do with the All Progressive Congress presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Please don't go anywhere.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought a very friendly natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is ATN Politics, and I've been speaking with Moses Idika. Mr. Moses Idika is a journalist and a former House of Representative aspirant. Let's move on to the next issue. Academic certificate. Tinubu campaign organization accuses the People's Democratic Party of sponsoring Tinubu's arrest. The Bola Ahmed Tinubu presidential campaign organization during the weekend accused the People's Democratic Party of recruiting agents against its principal at the Center for Reform and Public Advocacy had given the police an ultimatum to arrest and initiate criminal prosecution against Tinubu for using false academic qualification to secure nomination. The campaign team described the allegations as untrue. The group, of course, that is actually calling for Tinubu's arrest, its legal advisor Kalu Ugu alleged that Tinubu supplied false information on oath in his Form EC9 submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission. He said in 1999, Tinubu claimed he had attended St. Paul Aruloya Children's Home School, Ibadan, between 1958 to 1964. Agu said the candidate also claimed that he attended Government College Ibadan between 1965 and 1969. But in 2022, he said he never attended primary nor secondary school in his Form EC9. Reacting to this development, the director of communication of the Tinubu campaign organization, Bayo Onanuga, he said the claims were there were no facts in the claim. Onanuga maintained that Tinubu did not submit the certificate to the electoral umpire. According to him, the certificate, Tinubu, speaking further, he said the campaign, he said that he noted that the certificate he gave to INEC this year was the same that he submitted in 2003. Onanuga also said, while Tinubu, this is what he said, this was what happened that time, and if in 2022 Tinubu now drew blank on that section, that is the section for certificate. What offense has he committed? Those to go to court, and challenge the matter in court. We'll hold it on at this point. We'll get back to our guest, Mr. Idika. Mr. Idika, what do you have to say, concerning this issue, this certificate controversy, concerning the presidential candidate of the ruling All Progressive Congress? Mind you, this is not the first time Tinubu will be contesting for an election. He was two-time, governor of Lagos State, and of course now he wants to contest for the presidency, and we're having a certificate issue. Why now? And why are we discussing? Why the noise about the certificate?
Well, again, it tells you the kind of character APC as an organization, as a political party is. Because I'm aware that in all the political parties, definitely it is an identity issue that is going on here. So, and we can't have a president whose past we don't know as a country. I mean, you are ridiculing the entire country. A country of about 200 million people. We can't find someone who can really say, yes, this is who this man is. He started here and here he is now. So it's a big problem. Yes, the Tinubu campaign organization can accuse PDP, but the PDP is an interested party here. The PDP is contesting an election against APC and Tinubu as a person. So definitely, okay, now, if we are debating PDP or the presidential aspirant, I mean, you can just imagine what could be happening or what could be going on in people's minds. So this is a valid question that has to be resolved before the election date even. So I think those calling for, it's just for INEC to do the needful. There are basic standards that Electoral Act and our Constitution requires of those who aspire to high offices. Let those sections of our Constitution, the highest authority in this country, which is the law of the land, let those sections be invoked. Let them apply. It is in the interest of Nigeria and Nigerians.
Well, thank you, Mr. Idika. I must appreciate your thoughts and contributions on the program. We do hope to have you some other times on the program. Thank you also for watching this program. We do believe that you will join us same time tomorrow on the same program and same station. Remember, you can be part of the program by joining via our social media platforms. On YouTube and Facebook, it is Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram, it is Atlantic TV Network. And on Twitter, it is Atlantic TV Net. Remember, peace and unity are the pathway to progress. I remain your host, Vincent Samuel. You have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what's the plan.
I have fought a very family. Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Good afternoon and glad to have you join us here on Atlantic Television Network. The show is Business Roundup and we broadcasting live from the excellent city of Lagos and the commercial hub of West Africa. Here are news making the rounds this beautiful afternoon. But first, the headlines. Stock market further gains by 0.47%. Welcome back now to the news in details. Nigerian stock market performance indicator, the All Share Index and market capitalization increased further by 0.47% or 131 billion naira on Thursday to 51,618 points and 27.828 trillion respectively, as against preceding day's low of 51,377 points and 27,697 trillion. Stocks like FBN Holdings, Livestock Feeds, Union Bank, and other helped the market positive close. Investors have been picking fundamentally sound names like these after the market recorded remarkable loss last week. FBN Holdings advanced most on the bourse after rising from 9 naira 20 kobo to 10 naira 10 kobo, up by 90 kobo or 9.7%. Also, Union Bank increased from 5 naira 65 kobo to 6 naira, adding 35 kobo or 6.19%. Followed by Livestock Feeds, which relied from 1 naira 44 kobo to 1 naira 55 kobo and up by 10 kobo or 6.94%. FBN Holdings advanced most on the bourse after rising from 9 naira 20 kobo to 10 naira 10 kobo, up by 90 kobo or 9.78%. Also, Union Bank increased from 5 naira 65 kobo to 6 naira, adding 35 kobo or 6.19%. Followed by Livestock Feed, which rallied from 1 naira 44 kobo to 1 naira 54 kobo, up by 50 kobo or 6.95%. Mutual Benefit, Oando, FCMB, Group, Exchange, and also Access Holdings and FBN Holdings were most traded stock on the market exchange limited as at closing of the market as at yesterday. In 4,028 deals, investors exchanged 223,455,093 shares valued at 2.858 billion naira. Also, the market's positive return to date increased to 20.84%. Still on the transaction market, the total value of domestic and foreign transaction Nigerian Exchange Limited for the first 5 months of the year 2022 rose to 1.51 trillion. This record shoots higher against 933.65 billion, which was the total transaction carried out by both domestic and foreign investors in the corresponding period of January to May 2021. In a report released by the Nigerian Stock Exchange Regulatory Limited on behalf of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the domestic and foreign portfolio investment of May 2022 report shows the transaction as well as trading figures from market operators. It also showed that domestic investors had continued to hold ground on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange market despite rising inflation and currency volatility in the foreign exchange market, which remain key drivers of the domestic and foreign portfolio investment. Further analysis showed that the foreign transactions stood at 201.29 billion naira, according to that's about 13.37% of the total transaction carried out from January to May, while domestic transactions constituted 1.3 trillion naira, representing 86.63% of the total transaction, outperforming the foreign investments during the same period. Analysis of the domestic transactions show that institutional investors outperformed retail investors. A comparison of domestic transactions in the period under review revealed also that retail transactions pulled 408.03 billion naira in investment, while institutional investors' investment amounted to 896.21 billion naira from January to May 2022. The performance of the current month when compared to the performance in May 2021, that's about 97.19 billion naira, revealed that the total transaction increased from 525.01%. In May 2022, the total value of transactions executed by domestic investors outperformed transactions executed by foreign investors by circa 86%. Subsequently, the total transaction executed between the current and prior month revealed that total domestic transaction increased by 214.40% from 178.8 billion naira in April to 562.15 billion naira in May 2022. In contrast, total foreign transaction increased by 67.28% from 27.08 billion naira, about $65.01 million, to 45.3 billion naira, that is about $108.02 million between April and May 2022. The report revealed that over 15 years, domestic transaction decreased by 58.80% from 3,556 trillion naira in 2007 to 1.47 trillion in 2021, while foreign transaction also increased by 29.35% from 616 billion naira to 435 billion naira over the same period. Now to the news making the government power, State House and business. The President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, has nominated for screening and confirmation Muhammad Bello Shehu as Chairman of Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. The request was contained in a letter read by the Senate President Ahmed Lawal at the preliminaries on Wednesday. The letter read, in accordance with the provision of Section 154, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, I am pleased to forward the confirmation by the Senate, the appointment of Muhammad Bello Shehu as the Chairman of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. A CV is attached herein, which is hoped that the Senate will consider the confirmation, the nominee, in the usual expeditious manner. Still on the news, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, has said that the lack of money management skill is driving financial crisis among public servants, urging them to manage, save and invest money. A statement signed by the Ministry's Director of Information and Press, Phil Abimugwe Muwete, said that the Finance Minister, who was represented by the Ministry's Permanent Secretary, Aliyu Ahmed, had noted this as at the flag-off ceremony of service-wide financial literacy in the workplace program on financial inclusion in Abuja. The statement read in part, the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, has declared the lack of primary skills on how to manage, save and invest money was one of the reasons why public employees experience financial troubles, as most public servants do not cultivate effective savings habits, rather they spend more than what they earn. The minister said there was a program for ministries, departments and agencies involving financial literacy training for 12,000 government employees by December 2022. In his address of welcome, the Permanent Secretary, Special Duties, Shehu Shinkimfa, said the most employees in the public sector earn to consume largely due to the lack of financial literacy. Still on the news, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria and the Lagos State Chamber of Commerce and Industry, an economist on Wednesday encountered the claim made by the President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, that the economy under him is better than it was in 2015. The chairman of the Gas and the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Mr. Ola Adebayo, said Buhari's regime's policy have not translated into positive economic growth and real sector development. He faulted the regime's implementation of policies under Buhari, stressing that his regime would not score a pass mark. Adebayo said, "One thing I have to observe is that policy formulation is different from policy implementation. With recent events, I don't think the government has passed. We have only very few policy on paper, but implementation has been lacking. Once there is no implementation, it becomes just an idea." End of quote. On his part, Director General of Nigerian's American Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Shola Obadimu, said Buhari's assessment
Every day, our lives are changed by history,
We are one people, all of us.
leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. You human trafficker. You are a human.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
celebrating the giants of our time. The people, the candidates, the party, the campaigns. What really makes an election year? Enough of the rhetorics. It's time for issue-based politics. 2023 elections. Who are the candidates? What do you know about them? Take a seat, relax, and join us for the 2023 elections on Atlantic Television Network.
Businesses operating in Nigeria are a complete waste of time, energy, and resources. Many Nigerians have set tales about their involvement in multi-level marketing in Nigeria. Multi-level marketing exists in many countries across the world, and as a matter of fact, multi-level marketing is one of the best enough. The returns are paid from the monies collected from their earlier investment in terms of the price, natural gas, natural petrol gas, price watch. The NBS said that the average retail price for cooking gas increased by 89.26% from the 2,071 naira in May. According to the report, the average retail price per litre of household kerosene paid by consumer in May 2022 increased by 15.21% on a month-on-month basis from 589 naira 82 kobo in April 2022 to 679 naira 55 kobo in May 2022. Based on the state profile, analysts analyzing the highest average prices for the refilling 5 kg cylinder of liquefied petroleum gas, often known as cooking gas, was recorded in Gombe with 4,366 naira 67 kobo, followed by Bayelsa with 4,325 naira, and Adamawa with 4,250 naira. On the other hand, Yobe recorded the lowest average price with 3,200. This was followed by Ogun and Ondo with 3,450 naira and 3,480 naira respectively. In addition, price analysts analyzed by zones shows that the average retail price for refilling a 5 kg cylinder of cooking gas was highest in the southeast with 4,900 and with 4,094 naira and 39 kobo, followed by North Central with 3,989 naira 98 kobo, and South with 3,977 naira 75 kobo, while the Southwest recorded the lowest average retail price of 3,707 and 19.53 kobo. When aggregated, both products hit 88.11% average based on the numbers for the past 12 months. Still on the news. The National Pension Commission has urged employers of labor to ensure timely remittance of employees' contributions. The Director General PENCOM, Mrs. Aisha Dahi Umar, spoke during the 2022 Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers Employers Forum with the theme Pension Smart Equipping Employees for a Better Future in Lagos recently. Dahi Umar, who was represented by the head Southwest Zonal Office of PENCOM, Dr. Babatunde Alayende, said employers were expected by Pension Reforms Act 2014 to ensure the remittance of pension contributions of employees into their retirement savings account within 7 days of salary payment. He said having a robust retirement benefit scheme in an organization demonstrates the employer's commitments to the future of its employees, and this in turn improves employees' loyalty and productivity. Still on the news, the telecommunication industry is beginning to shake off the effects of the National Identification Number and Subscriber Identity Model policy as it recovers 16.94 million active subscribers within 11 months, according to data from the Nigerian Communication Commission, NCC. The data revealed that active telecom subscribers grew from 187.28 million in June 2021 to 204 million in May 2022, which gives a growth of 16.94 million over the period. Prior to June 2021, the telecoms industry had lost subscribers monthly as a result of the federal government's December 2020 ban on SIM acquisition and related activities. Before the government's ban SIM-related activities in 2020, the number of active telecom subscribers had peaked at 207.58 million in October of the year and was 204.15 million when the ban kicked in December. After the ban, the number of active subscribers in the nation started witnessing a steady decline from 204.15 million in December 2020 to 187.28 million in June 2021. It began witnessing growth from June 2021 to reach 204.22 million in 2022. During the ban, the telecom experts said it was affecting their business, while many Nigerians lamented how they were stranded since they couldn't retrieve their lines when it was lost, damaged, or stolen. The federal government later lifted the ban on new SIM cards registrations in April 2021. According to the NCC, active subscribers decreased from 204.60 million subscribers in 2022 to 194.46 million active subscribers in 2021 as of December. In its 2021 industrial statistics document, the Commission attributed the reduction in subscribers to the SIM ban of the government. According to the NCC, data usage increased by 68.22% from 209.917.40 TB in 2020 to 353,118.89 TB in 2021. Still on the news, the Central Bank of Nigeria, Abeokuta branch, has said that 1,779 farmers in Ogun State have benefited from agricultural loans in 2021. Head the CBN Abeokuta branch controller Wahab Hussaini disclosed this on Wednesday at the Ogun State Award for Best Farmers of the Year. Hussaini said that the disbursement was part of the Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme Fund ACGSF, established by the Decree number 20 of 1977 to guarantee credit facilities extended to farmers by banks. He said the loan was targeted at increasing access to funds in the agricultural sector, adding that beneficiaries would get back 50% of the interest they met with terms of the loans. In our address, the Ogun State CBN Development Financial Officer, Dr. Oluwakemi Olukoya, while congratulating awardees, said food security was everybody's responsibility. More on the news, the House of Representatives ad hoc committee on state of refineries in Nigeria on Thursday voted a 49 million contract awarded to a firm, Technimote, to conduct integrity tests on refineries across Nigeria. The contract was awarded to the firm by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, now Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, in 2019 for the first phase of rehabilitation of the refinery. The chairman of the committee, Ganiyu Johnson, at an investigative hearing held in Abuja, where officials of the company were grilled, said the lawmakers had discovered infractions in the course of probing into the current state of the refineries. Johnson also blamed the NNPC for failing to carry out a regular turnaround maintenance of the facilities. The committee asked both parties in the deal to submit all evidence of the contract approved by the Federal Executive Council and proof of payment, including the level of work being done. Meanwhile, the House Committee on Public Accounts on Thursday asked the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and the Director General of Budget Office to furnish it with copies of the budget of the National Pension Commission from 2019 to 2022. The chairman of the committee, Oluwole Oke, at the investigative hearing of the committee over audit queries issued by the Office of the Auditor General for the Federation, directed the clerk to the committee to write the OSGF and the Budget Office to get these details. Oke issued the order after the committee grilled the representative of the Director General of PENCOM, Ayim Nyerere. The OAUGF had, in an audit queried, alleged that PENCOM failed to render its audited financial account from 2013 till date. Still on the news, with no end in sight to the double winding of soaring petrol subsidy plugging crude oil production, the World Bank has warned that a fiscal time bomb could explode in Nigeria. The federal government, which had initially budgeted to spend 443 billion naira on petrol subsidy between January and June, got the approval of the National Assembly in April to subsidize the product to the tune of 4 trillion this year. Subsidy, which is deducted from government's net oil revenues, gobbled by 947.53 billion in 53 billion naira in the first 4 months of this year, according to data from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, with no remittance made so far this year by the NNPC to the Federation Account Allocation Committee. The National Oil Firm said last month that an estimated subsidy of 874.50 billion, consisting of arrears of 371 billion naira, an estimated April subsidy of 503.31 billion naira would be recovered from May 2022 proceeds due for sharing at the June FAAC meeting. The World Bank said the decoupling continues in 2022, driven by low oil production, a larger unit petrol subsidy, a weaker currency, and a higher apparent petrol consumption than in the past. Nigeria's public debt stock rose by 2.04 trillion in the first quarter of this year to 41.60 trillion. According to Debt Management Office, the federal government borrowed 1.55 trillion naira from the Central Bank of Nigeria in the first 4 months of this year, bringing its total debt to the CBN to 19.01 trillion. Data from the Apex Bank showed that the International Monetary Fund also confirming this, said that last week, despite supportive oil prices, the country's gross foreign exchange reserves fell to $38.6 billion at the end of May 2022 from $41.5 billion in September 2021. We'll go for a short break, and when we come back, Business Roundup continue. Please go nowhere. Welcome back, and just in case you're just joining us, this is Business Roundup here on Atlantic Television Network, and I am Godwin Sunday. Here are the news making the rounds this beautiful afternoon. Nigeria's manufacturers reduced their investment in the economy by 61% between 2018 to 2021, according to Atlantic Television analysis from Economy Reviews of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN. Investments made by the manufacturers fell from 552 billion naira in 2018 to 217.22 billion naira in 2021, signifying a 60.7% decline over the period. While investment made by members of MAN was 552 billion naira in 2018, they declined to 496.11 billion naira in 2019 during the advent of COVID-19 crisis in 2020. Investment crashed to 118.52 billion, rising slightly to 217.22 billion naira in 2021. A dollar was priced at 415.82 at the importers and exporters window on Monday, but its parallel market rate was 2,610 naira at the parallel market. The parallel market provides alternative for manufacturers, but its rate hike production costs, according to MAN. According to MAN, cost of funds for members who borrowed from deposit money banks rose from 20.75% in 2020 to 21.5% in 2021. At the third Monetary Policy Committee MPC meeting of 2022 in May, the Central Bank of Nigeria raised the monetary policy rate, which is the benchmark interest rate, from 11.5% to 13%. Nigeria's rate is among the emerging markets' highest findings have shown. South Africa's rate is currently 4.75%, while Namibia's lending rate as at February 2022 was 4%. Director of Research and Strategy, Chapel Hill Daham, Mr. Tunji Ibrahim, told Atlantic Television that the decline in investments could be attributed to foreign exchange scarcity and the effect of COVID-19 in Nigeria. Still on the news, the federal government on Monday charged all parties, Nigeria, Niger, and Algeria, involved in the construction of $13 billion trans-Saharan gas pipeline to fast-track measures for the completion of the multi-billion-dollar project. It said this was vital because many European countries were currently asking Nigeria and its partners for alternative gas supply due to the negative impact of gas supply by the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. The TSGP is a planned natural gas pipeline from Nigeria through Niger to Algeria. In February this year, the three nations signed an agreement that would see development resume on the project. The agreement was finalized during the Economic Communities of West African State Mining and Petroleum Forum in Niamey, Niger. In his address at the ministerial meeting on the reactivation of the Trans-Saharan gas pipeline project in Abuja, Nigeria's Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipriyo Silva, said the three nations must hasten effort to start supplying gas to Europe. Participants at the meeting explained that the 4,128-kilometer gas pipeline would link Warri in Nigeria to Hassi Reme in Algeria, passing through Niger. They noted that the facility would carry natural gas annually to European markets via Algeria's strategic Mediterranean coast, as well as supply inland stations along its route. On its part, the Algerian Minister of Energy and Mines, Mohamed Akab, said the declaration that had been signed by the three parties and the roadmap agreed on were indeed tangible signs of willingness of all parties to move further on the TSGP project with the aim of launching the updating of its facilities study. As part of effort to ensure transparency, inclusiveness, and demonstrate sincerity in the airport concession program and choose the right model, the aviation minister, Senator Adi Sirika, has led a team comprising of officials of the ministries, agencies, and organized labor in the aviation industry on an inspection tour of a two successful concessioned airports. The team that visited the Istanbul airport in Turkey and the Brazilian airport in Brazil with the Minister of Nigerian College of Aviation, Zaria, Captain Akali Modibo, the Acting Managing Director of the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, Matthew Lawrence Prajok, the Transaction Advisor on Airport Concession, Dr. Alba Ibrahim, and the Director General of the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, Michael Ohiani. Others are the Senior Technical Assistants to the Minister, Yusuf Anas, Special Assistants to the Minister on Administration, Ahmed Sanusi, Secretary General of the Association of Nigerian Aviation Professionals, ANAP, Sahidu Abdurazak, Secretary General of National Union of Air Transport Employees, NOET, Ochena Abba, and Adenike Adesola, CSS. According to the minister, the essence of the visits to the two airports was to dispel all doubts and suspicion regarding the sincerity of the federal government in respect of the concession program and to ensure and reassure the labor force of the inherent benefit of the program. He further said that the choice of the two airports was based on their popularity, size, and their success story in concession, which he said will serve as a guide on the concession model that contributes to the successful delivery of the program. He reiterated government's commitment to ensuring that the principles of transparency and accountability, which have been the hallmark of the process from inception, will remain till the final delivery of the project. At the two airports, the team was presented with virtual stories of their transition and positive impact of their concession. K Unction and Unction House in South upscale Ganam district reported that more than half of winning bidders last year were in their 40s or younger. Thanks to influx of younger buyers, South Korea's act market grew almost threefold last year, according to CAMS, reaching an estimated value of 920 billion won. That is about $714 million. The sudden growth has been widely attributed to revenge spending after the end of pandemic restrictions, but some young collectors have also found their new hobby to be unexpectedly lucrative. Urban art is now one of the most popular genre in the market, and some items in these collections have seen their value rise as much as 20 times. As it has in other areas of life, the rise of social media has also affected affected how many young collectors navigate the vast world of art. Last year, South Korea overtook Germany as the fifth biggest contemporary art auction market, according to Art Basel's Art Market 2022 report. Seoul is also increasingly vying for the title of Asia's premier art hub as Hong Kong's international status dwindles amid political censorship and pandemic-related travel restrictions that have no end in sight. World-renowned galleries including Parontin and Lahaman Maupin have opened up expanded galleries in Seoul during the last 2 years, while influential art fairs Freeze will launch its first Asian event in Seoul with KIAF Seoul in September. Still on the news, digital currencies struggle to hold above the closely watched $20,000 levy, extended a period of market volatility that saw huge weekend swings. The largest cryptocurrency fell as much as 4.8% to 19.618 billion this week in Asia and was trading at 20,000 in Tokyo. Either at one point shared 7.8% but held above $1,000. Solana, Cardano, and Dogecoin were in the red. Bitcoin sank almost 15% on Saturday, but then vaulted back above $20,000 with a 16% surge on Sunday. The pattern of swings suggests investors' sentiment remains highly fragile as the federal government goes full throttle to fight inflation with interest rate hikes that drains liquidity from markets. Some crypto Executives argued that Bitcoin below $20,000 could lead to more liquidations of leveraged positions. The token is down about 57% since the start of the year, while others have suffered even more. The T3 Bitcoin Volatility Index, a measure of the token's expected 30-day volatility, has jumped towards the high of 2022, adding to the uncertainty in the intense pressure on decentralized finance application. Their popularity soared as a source of high yield when pandemic-era stimulus drove a record-breaking crypto boom. But now they are taking unprecedented measures to protect themselves against cascading liquidations. Embattled crypto lending platform Celsius Network Limited said on Monday it needs more time to stabilize its liquidity and operations after freezing deposits last week. We'll go for a short break and when we come back, Business Roundup continues here on Atlantic Television. Please go nowhere. Welcome back, and now we run straight to the final lap of the news here on Business Roundup. Finally on the news, now the food staple for more than half the planet could help India redeem itself from New Delhi's ban on wheat exports last month sent shockwaves through the world at a time when the war in Ukraine has set off a global food crisis. The U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates that both the production and demand for rice will touch new records globally this year. Indian two experts said it expected to witness both increased yields and greater consumption, unlike with wheat, where the recent harvest was significantly worse than predicted. But the ban on wheat export has left international food markets preparing the possibility of similar restrictions by India. The value of the country's rice export in May 2022 rose by more than 10% compared with a year earlier, driven in large part of those fears, said analysts. How India balances its domestic needs and its export of rice could prove the difference between food security and hunger for the millions of people around the world, they said. For the moment, there is no need to worry about potential export ban on rice, said Vinod Kaur, executive director of the All Indian Rice Exporters Association, the sector's leading industry body. The last harvest was good. There are enough rice stocks in warehouses for the country's vast subsidized food distribution system, and the yield projection for the current season are promising, a businessman told Atlantic Television. Indeed, India's rice stock at the moment is about 33 million metric tons, the highest they have been at the time of the year since at least 2016, according to data from the Food Corporation of India, FCI, which procures food from farmers on behalf of the government for the public distribution system. But Indians' food supplies look less robust when the sharp fall in wheat production this year, which prompted the export ban, is taken into account. Together, rice and wheat stocks with the FCI at the start of June were the lowest since 2017. Well, this is how far we can go today on Business Roundup. We will encourage you at this point to let us know what's the rate of inflation and how is the impact of inflation affecting you as a person, your business, and also your immediate community. Share your thoughts with us on what you think and how we think an average person can come out of this whole inflation trajectory that is basically confronting a lot of states right now. The price of gas is going up in major states. The price of petrol and kerosene is becoming an essential commodities for so many homes and many companies and what have you. So I want you to leave your thoughts with us on what you think about the general industrialization and inflation trajectory that has been that's confronting the world right now, not just in Nigeria, but across the world. What do you think about this, and what steps do you think that we can do? A lot of persons are saying that we can do liquefied gas, we can also go into a Marybond, we can do into partnership. What do you think? Till we come your way again, I am God wins Sunday. Follow us on all our social media. It's bye for now.
from the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Country illegally. That is amazing. Honorable you human on the point of order. Honorable you understand.
They are not picking our calls. They may not be able to never mind you. I'm sorry. I am in the way.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. Honorable you human on the point of order. Honorable you understand.
They are not picking our calls. They may not be able to never mind you. I'm sorry. I am in the way.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. Honorable you human on the point of order. Honorable you understand.
They are not picking our calls. They may not be able to never mind you. I'm sorry. I am in the way.
Welcome to the program, Government and Public Service. In case you're just joining us for the very first time, Government and Public Service is a program where we present and x-ray issues and happenings around the 3 levels, branches, ministries, associated departments, and agencies of government, giving you an in-depth, unbiased, and factual reportage. And today on the program, we'll be looking at some of the highlights, first starting with the Federal Capital Territory Administration, Writ Riot Act to private school, and in the Abuja Municipal Area Council, Kuje, Boss Mustafa commissions Go International Event Center. Still on the Federal Capital Territory demolition, I'm impressed with task force activities, says the Minister of FCT. On to the next story is the Paramount ruler sack. Cross River Traditional Council inducts new Efut Kingdom. And in Anambra State, troop clears IPOB camps. Going on to NAFDAC, European cosmetic products ban, and the Nigerian Drug Law and Enforcement Agency operative apprehended Brazilian returnee with cocaine. And in Delta State, police arrest man for allegedly beheading son. Moving on to the NDDC, Federal Government Review Act ignores NAS stakeholders. And in Kebbi State, 5,600 megawatt solar power project allocated. We go to Ogun State, government lauds firm on building standard compliance. And on insecurity issue, arm yourself against bandits, says Ibrahim. And from NSCDC, man arrested with explosive devices. And in Kaduna State, General Household Survey unveiled. The next topical issue is the software testing. Federal government targets 50,000 testers in 3 years. Moving on to Oyo State, Amoteku, Governor Makinde okays recruitment of additional 500 corps. And on the grid collapse, Serap sues Buhari over alleged missing 11 trillion naira. Moving on to